Welcome to your broker admin, where we dive into the latest review outcomes, share practical tips in our Humpday Helpers, and feature special industry guest interviews to help you stay on top of the game. Whether you're flying solo or part of a team, we're here to help you streamline your processes and work smarter, not harder.
Well, here we are again. Time for another episode of Your Broker Admin. But before we get episode 75 started, here's this week's bonus history bite. On this day in history, June the 10th, we have a case of trials and discovery. In 1692, the first victim of the Salem witch trials, Bridget Bishop, is hung after being found guilty of witchcraft in the colony of Massachusetts. Given some of the accusations being thrown around these days, this felt strangely topical. And in 1770, British explorer Captain James Cook is the first European to discover the Great Barrier Reef off Australia's east coast by running aground on its coral. Not the most elegant way to discover one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and further proof that discovery and navigation don't always go hand in hand. Moving forward to the present day, we'll start things off with the reviews wrap-up, covering the week ending the 5th of June 2026, with another round of interest savings, a slightly bewildering lending opportunity, and more of those all-important client conversations. Then we'll move into this week's Humpday Helper, where I share an update to ME Bank's settlement agent arrangements. I'm Rob Cummings. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get this week's episode underway. In this week's reviews wrap-up, we take a look at outcomes from loan reviews completed during the week ending the 5th of June 2026. We had 7 reviews in total that were completed and received rate reductions, providing the relative borrowers with interest savings totaling $4,200. In addition to those savings, we also picked up a couple of lending opportunities for approximately $1.3 million from our client review conversations. Now for the review outcome of the week, I wouldn't actually quite put this in the standout category, but it was the best reduction outcome from those 7 reviews. An ANZ customer with an owner-occupied and investment loan, rate reductions on both for 0.16% and 0.09% respectively, providing them with an overall interest savings of $1,255, with the majority being on the owner-occupied loan. Also, to be fair, the end rates offered by ANZ were actually quite good at 6.19% and 6.25%. Now for the new opportunities, the 2 lending opportunities uncovered were around $500,000 for some major home renovations and $800,000 for an external refinance. This was actually a strange one. When we went to complete the review, we found out the loan had been refinanced by another broker nearly 3 months ago. It only settled last year. The broker wasn't aware and requested we contact the client. From that conversation, we determined that they were in a situation where they needed to refinance urgently and only went elsewhere because they couldn't make contact with their normal broker. They didn't really want to, but felt they had no choice. They were, however, open to re-engaging with the original broker and moving the loan back through them if possible. And now, on to this week's client conversations. The first one was a conversation with a client who has their loan through NAB. The loan settled 12 months ago when they purchased their current property in a regional area. A rate review completed with NAB, but no reduction obtained, even though it's higher than average. We rang and spoke with the client to confirm completion of the review and the outcome. They outlined how they bought the property as an owner-occupied property, but it actually had a small business attached, which was virtually thrown in as part of the deal. It's a bush camp, but ran on cash only, so had no tangible value when sold. It had also been closed for the past 2 years. They reopened the business in November 25, as it took them nearly 6 months to get the insurance arranged. The business apparently is now going well, charging $15 per person per night. A positive story, really. They really appreciated the review and commented that they loved the broker. The other conversation, an ANZ customer with both an owner-occupied and investment loan. We completed our first review for them last year, with a small reduction on their owner-occupied loan. A lot of the conversation last year was about their early years on the Sunshine Coast. This year's review produced the outcome of the week, as noted earlier. Again, the client reminisced about their younger days when we rang them. They did eventually get around to letting us know that the business is going extremely well, doing mostly two-storey dwellings and no high-rise, which makes more money. The business has actually outgrown their current premises, and they're still renting additional space nearby. Council permits have just been issued for construction and engineer tests are being done for footings. They want to move some of the business north, possibly Hervey Bay. They are already doing work in Angus Waters and Maryborough. They further commented that they really appreciated the rate drop and has no issues at all with the loan and no questions. They went on to mention that they were planning to look at another investment property early next year and will make contact with the broker then. We updated the broker accordingly. In summary, a reasonable outcome this week and a slightly bizarre conversation with one client. I must say though, this story is more common than you may possibly believe. Supposedly, in the time it's taken a broker to respond to a client inquiry, they have managed to refinance with someone else. And there you have it, a clawback in an instant. Not sure what to make of that one, really. In this week's Humpday Helper number 178, I share a quick update on some changes ME Bank has made to its settlement process. Earlier this year, ME Bank switched settlement agents from Galilee to Denton's. Along with that change has come an update to how settlement files are managed. ME Bank will now handle files internally right up to the point where they're ready for settlement booking. That includes completing their own document verification process before handing the file across to Denton's to arrange and complete settlement. They've also moved away from the old RHL application reference numbers and are now issuing HLA reference numbers for new home loan applications. Nothing too earth-shattering, but if you've got existing ME Bank processes tucked away in the back of your mind, it's worth updating them to reflect the new settlement workflows.
Thanks for listening to your broker admin. If you've got feedback, questions, or a topic you'd like covered on the show, you can now send it through via our Contact the Show page. The link is in the episode notes. If the link's not clickable in your player, just copy it from the show notes or head to the episode description on your phone. A rating on Apple Podcasts, a review on Podchaser, or a follow on Spotify all help the show reach the people it's built for. This has been your broker admin for those who like their process neat.